Hello there. Welcome back to the Handmade channel. My name is Paula Jean. How are we doing? Are we leaning into hobbies and getting outside when we can and trying to stay away from the news? I hope so. That's what I'm doing. Today I am going to share with you a project that I did about 3-ish weeks ago. I wasn't sure if I was going to put it on here, but I think now is kind of the perfect time for a small, simple, focused, meditative project. This is something that you can take anywhere with you, just about. You can throw it in your purse and do it on the subway. You could do it in a park. You could do it on a plane. And yeah, so I'm going to share that with you today. At the end of October, it was my best friend's birthday, and normally we just get together and have drinks and foods and hang out and stuff, but this year I really wanted to make her something. She's sort of she's not a full-blown minimalist, but she's sort of minimal-ish, I guess. And so I wanted to kind of accommodate that trait in her, but still make her something a little special that didn't have any real obligation to it, like something she would have to wear or something like that. So I decided to do a little embroidered card for her. And that's the process I'm going to show you. So grab a cup of tea, maybe a little treat for yourself, and watch the magic happen. I'm just taking 2 pieces of linen, one burgundy and one a deep plum, giving them a good press, and I'm going to sew them right sides together with a 3/8 of an inch seam allowance. And after pressing the seam allowance open, I just want to give a little bit of stability for my embroidery, so I'm putting a little square of fusible interfacing on the back. I'm using weft interfacing here, but you can use any lightweight interfacing that you have on hand. I also made a template out of a 3x5 card, and I'm just using a disappearing fabric marker to outline the inside of that template. From there, I can put it in a little embroidery hoop, and I've decided to use coral and lavender as my embroidery floss colors. I'm using 3 threads, just an arbitrary choice, so I'm just pulling that apart and loading it in the eye of my embroidery needle. And making the design is super simple. I'm just sinking my needle below the line at the bottom of the design, pulling it back up on the other side, and then taking that all the way across to the top of the design and doing the exact same thing. I'm leaving myself plenty of fringe because I haven't decided what length I want it yet, and I'm just going to repeat this process over and over and over until I have filled in that side. And with that all finished, I can continue on to the lavender. And I'm just going to do the exact same process until my entire heart is all filled in. Then I can release it from the embroidery hoop, and I'm just going to zhuzh up this fringe a little bit to make it easier to cut. I'm going to do that using my purple thing tool. This is something that's in many sewists' arsenals. It has a soft curved end of it, and that keeps the fabric below from getting damaged. And there's no reason to put this heart in the center. I don't know why I did that, but here we are. I also made a larger template out of 2 3x5 cards, and this is going to determine the length of my fringe. I'm using a heat-soluble pen here to just deposit little dots of ink. I don't need it to be super solid. I just need a rough guide for my scissors. And with my super sharp embroidery scissors, I can get a really nice, clean, precise cut. I also decided to fringe the edges. This is linen, and this is commonly done with linen on napkins and things. I will say that the burgundy side, which is a looser weave, was much easier than the plum side, but even with the frustration of that, we got there in the end. And so the last thing I'm going to do for the panel is put some additional interfacing on the back. I'm using a piece that is a little more tightly woven and it's slightly thicker. This is just to give it some body to be able to support itself on the front of the card. And I'm going to use a temporary fabric glue stick just to stick the panel on the front. This isn't going to hold it permanently, it's just to hold it in place while I'm doing little stitches in the corners. And I've made myself little dots for guides of where to sink in and pull back through my needle. I've decided to do little asterisk stars to permanently affix the panel to the card, and that just makes it a little bit easier. And with those all done, this is the finished card. I really love how this turned out. My friend adored it. It's a nice little handmade piece of art, but she doesn't have to put it on a wall. If she wants to frame it, she can, but it also looks really nice just sitting on a bookshelf. So it's really low risk and high reward. Now I did a heart shape, but you could really do any shape you want. You could do a star. I've done a circle one before where I had 2 different shades of blue linen, and so half of it was a moon and half of it was the sun. You could do somebody's initial. Let your imagination run wild with it. Now, if you're still watching, I have a little treat for you. You can turn this video into a drinking game. Go back, rewatch the video, and take a swig every time I say the word little. I did not intend for this to happen. I only discovered it while I was editing, so that is my treat to you. It doesn't have to be alcohol. Can be wine, tequila, whatever is your pleasure, but it could be tea or kombucha or chocolate or a celery stalk or a hug. Give yourself a hug every time you hear the word little. Anyway, with that said, take great care of yourself. I will see you in the next one.